Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello,
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Jeremy Della Rosa, welcome to the show, sir. How are you this morning?
Thank you very much. I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm super excited. But yeah, it's a nice sunny day in California. How about you?
What part of California are you in?
I'm in SoCal, in Yorba Linda right now. It's an interesting time given, the interesting air quality problems that we're having now. Wildfire Central.
I guess on this stream, we've got the whole...
Where are you based actually right now?
Northern California, in the San Francisco Bay Area. And our air quality is a little, it's been improving. So fingers crossed, maybe this is the, I feel like we might have just hit bottom for humanity this year. And that means that we can only go one direction, hopefully. But we'll see. So Jeremy, tell us a little bit about yourself for those who aren't familiar with who you are.
Sure. So I've been in I don't even know where to start. I've been in the tech sector for about 16 years now. And the last 10 years have been spent at Blizzard Entertainment. So I've been very much into product development, platform development, game development, and had a lot of different interesting roles over that period where I was traveling around the world doing international deals, launching esports leagues, marketing, and a whole bunch of different experiences. And one of the things I've always been passionate about is trying to figure out what I could do to just do some social good and a big impact in the world. And I realized that the biggest untapped resource on the planet are actually gamers and geeks and nerds. And I want to figure out some way to activate that giant cohort to actually start to solve real world problems. So it's why I launched a nonprofit quite recently, and very interested to talk about that because I think it aligns very well with humanity first values and humanity forward values. So I figured it'd be great to get this in front of you and your audience.
Yeah, so to harness the power of gaming and gamification and sort of how people spend a lot of time today in the interest of the humanity forward movement. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. How does that actually happen? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, well, actually, what I can do is walk through a quick pitch, which will help visualize what we're trying to do, because it's a bit complicated. I have a little bit of a hard time explaining it all. So hopefully this will help a bit. But I did want to really emphasize a bit how much the Andrew Yang campaign really inspired me. So I've been in the corporate world forever, and I did startups early on, but just how much he emphasized entrepreneurship, and then just valuing humans intrinsically, time banking, universal basic income. All of these elements are really a big inspiration for how I started to design the org, but also set our mission too. So if you want, I could just jump right into it, and then we can do a bit of Q&A, and you can kind of poke holes and ask a bunch of questions. That sounds good.
Slides are always welcome in the nerd zone, my friend. So
let's do PowerPoint. I remember chanting those PowerPoint at those rallies.
I remember. Yeah. Let's do it.
All right.
Here we go. I see your slides are being shared.
All right. Fantastic. Okay, cool. Looking good. All right, so we are building Leyline. And so first and foremost, we're a nonprofit organization. The platform we're building is going to be 100% open source and fully transparent to the entire community. So we're trying to build an economy of good. And I'll get into how it's going to happen. But first and foremost, our vision is we believe in a compassionate future and are building a community to help create it. So to start off, we have to think about what are the things that motivate human beings to do certain actions. And something in the gaming world that we've really mastered is how do we hit those motivators from all different angles. So when we think about intrinsic motivators, the things that make us feel good about ourselves are doing good, to build emotional fulfillment and acceptance with our peers and our social groups, but also intellectual stimulation through solving problems. But then you start to spread it out to what are the intrinsic motivators that drive us? And so then it goes into social reputation. And then the biggest piece that is broken in our current system are the economic incentives. So the problem with doing good right now is that it costs you money in order to help somebody. We want to flip the script and rewrite the rules of the economy so that way, as you do good, you're rewarded for that. So what we're building is a digital reward system. And like as many gamers are very familiar with, we're basically going to be creating digital items as rewards for basically providing donations to any number of causes. So these digital items are actually secured and built on a blockchain. So they're actually non-fungible type tokens and fully unique and owned by the user. It's actually not even controlled and owned by us. It's granted specifically to the user, and they can do whatever they want with it, whether it's selling it, trading it, destroying it, etc. So the other element here is that we're building a marketplace where users can actually start trading these digital items between each other. And the secret here is that these digital items on Leyline will also be connected to real world value, which includes things like gift cards for Bitcoin and Ethereum, or Amazon gift cards, any number of items that we're going to work with partners to donate into a prize pool. So the question is, who cares about digital items? Why would anybody want to trade it, or why is it worth it? So one good analogy that we have is a game called CryptoKitties. So this is actually a game built on Ethereum blockchain. And they don't really have a lot of utility other than that they're unique, they're fun to collect, and they can't be copied or hacked or taken away from people. So collectors and players actually find a lot of value in that. And so the unbelievable thing is that in 2018, the most expensive CryptoKitties sold for $170,000. And that entire trading market is about $28 million. So it is really insane what the gaming market and the crypto market is actually exploding into.
Are people still buying crypto kitties? Is that still a thing?
They're actually doing really well. Yeah, they're doing partnerships with Muse and all that. So it's surprisingly doing well.
Okay, so it wasn't like a fly in the like a flash in the pan kind of thing. It's still going on.
Yeah. I think, it kind of tied with the crypto boom back in 2017 and 18. And then there was a bit of that crash. So they kind of floated along. But now that everything's picking up again, their numbers are starting to skyrocket. So, yeah, definitely a fan of those guys. I mean, I'm not a collector myself, but I get it. I get the business. So ultimately, what we're trying to do is actually create a donation engine. So it's a positive reinforcing feedback loop. And the way we rev up this engine is we're actually partnering with different game companies and brands, basically to donate a number of items that are going to have real world value. So this could be in-game items on Fortnite or World of Warcraft, like a pet or a hat or a sword. But also we're working with hardware manufacturers like NZXT and Zydax who are donating discount codes so that way you can actually buy super-powered PCs and other hardware. And as well, we're also going to use some of our own budget to buy these gift cards in different denominations to insert randomly into these items. So what that does is creates this prize pool for users to be attracted to and start actually donating to doing good things in the world. And as they donate, they're earning Leyline points. And those Leyline points are used to now claim these digital items, which they own and can start trading in a blockchain. So the way it comes full circle is that these items that people are trading actually fill the marketplace and the prize pool, and it just keeps on going and going while we continue these partnerships plugging in real world value. Any questions about that? Because that could be a little bit confusing.
I think for those listening, is the TLDR that okay, here's how it works. Like, you do good things and you get recognition and points, and some of those points are actually redeemable for real world benefits, but generally you're doing it because you believe in the cause. This is a way to kind of accelerate and make it a little bit more fun. Is that like
That's
a
absolutely.
layman's kind of description so far?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. And what I can go into is what our first use case could look like.
Yeah, let's do it.
And yeah, but to set the context, the reason why I'm pushing for this, and actually, a bit of what happened this year for me is that in April, my mom had passed away, and it sent out this whole chain reaction of chaos in my family. So I'd taken time off of work to kind of just like take care of things and stabilize. And by the time I was coming back, I was thinking, what the hell am I doing with my life? Do I really want to work for this corporate machine that, is not really prioritizing trying to help, the world, because we are in a massive crisis right now. And I love Blizzard, it's an amazing family. They've done really well for me. But I think where we kind of misaligned is where are putting our energy and resources in this horrible, horrible crisis. So the challenge is it's not necessarily the pandemic and the health crisis alone. It is the cascading effect onto the economy. So the OECD is projecting 470 million people are going to be affected by unemployment and poverty by the end of this year. That is freaking insane. I mean, this is a crisis that none of us have experienced in our entire lifetimes. And to me, it's like, World War II, people mobilized. They're just like, okay, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and re-engineer my factory and just help this effort because we need to do this. And in many ways, I feel like it's our generation's turn to say, okay, I'm going to drop what I'm doing and we're going to try to make a difference here because shit is falling apart. So the question is, how can we as individuals do anything to help? Because, the problem is just so massive that we could just sit here and be like, I don't even know what to do. I'm just going to throw my hands up and watch some Netflix, which is what I did for a while because it was so depressing. So we want to give a vector for every single person to make a difference and also be rewarded for that. So our first partnership is going to be with Boink. And the way we set this up is that we're building a full platform that any number of causes can plug into. So this is actually just our first use case. So a lot of you might be asking, what the hell is Boink? So this is David Anderson. We've been working together for about 6 years now. He's a research professor over at UC Berkeley. And so he built this open source platform as well as SETI at home. And what Boink does, it actually allows users to donate their PC or smartphone computing power to scientific research. So all these researchers on this platform are working on solutions for COVID-19, climate change, a host of diseases, space exploration. There's at least like 23 different active projects right now. So the awesome thing is that this has been running for about 18 years now, and they've contributed to over 160 scientific papers. And this is like gold in a scientific community. But the problem is that these guys are scientists and researchers. And so they struggle with marketing and engagement and acquisition and retention and all of these, like, how do we motivate people to keep on donating? So the problem is that their usage is declining over time, which is strange because PC and mobile growth is parabolic upwards. So that's where we come in and how we can help. So the gaming community can be our heroes. So there are more than 2.6 billion gamers on the planet. That is max. That's the biggest cohort that is out there. And so the question is, how do we leverage their power for good? And the way we could do that is with gamers' powerful PCs. So the interesting thing about our PCs now is that there is so much processing power available on CPUs and GPUs that are literally just sitting idle and waiting. And the energy usage is actually no different if you're using 10% of that versus 50 or 60%. So it's really just there available to donate. The other thing about gamers is that they're highly competitive. They're interested in science and technology. They're familiar with in-game currencies and in-game items, and they have strong collaborative communities. So for example, one of the largest wikis in the entire world is actually a community wiki on World of Warcraft. So it is really a fascinating space. And, for me as a gamer and a geek, I've lived and breathed this my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So now just think about the impact we could have. So if we took just 1% of the players playing Blizzard games and had them donate 1% of their computing power, that would be 3 times the world's fastest supercomputer. And 1% of all gamers would be 62 times the world's fastest supercomputer. We couldn't even fit this on a chart because it made every other bar look like a dot. So that is such a massive, massive opportunity. And so we could build the largest decentralized supercomputer on the planet and donate everything to scientific research and accelerate all of these solutions. So our primary goals are to, one, accelerate COVID research by months, and as an organization, create hundreds of jobs, and then as a platform, generate passive income for thousands of people all over the world. And so try to imagine this. So imagine you're a kid in India and got your first smartphone, and you start to donate to COVID-19 research, and then you earn points, and then you get an item that sells for $1,000, right? Just using our imagination. That is so game changing for that individual's life. And now imagine their family having access to that. Imagine that community getting access to that. That is economic vitality that's just injected straight into that community. And this could happen everywhere. So that's the vision. That's where we want to get to. And so the good thing is that the message is working. So I'm working a lot with different partners. And again, this is where I've been very fortunate to, travel the world and work at all these different brands and see how their business is done. And so I'm just tapping into that Rolodex and say, please help us. So it's actually worked, believe it or not. Like, I'm kind of shocked. But we've got brands that have already signed up, are going to donate their items. We've set up contracts. We've got a lot of support in the academic space, in the collegiate space, in the high school space. So every week we just get more and more people signing up to the cause. So that's why I'm here. I'm just reaching out to get help from anywhere, any angle as much as possible. So you can help in many different ways. Certainly donations are great and wonderful. That's not what I'm here for. I actually have other important needs I think you guys are great for. We are kind of also looking for companies that would be willing to sponsor in-game items and towards the prize pool, and otherwise just connecting us to other people in your network, whether it's donors or experts or just people who care. And finally, it's also just pitching in. So we need an army of engineers and artists and community managers because this is an open source platform. So we are building this thing to scale, not just from the platform side, but even as an organization. So in many ways, as Andrew always described, like building this wave to crash onto DC, I see the same thing where we want to build this gigantic tsunami of gamers attacking real world problems from every possible angle. So in order to do that, we need to really build on a scalable platform, a scalable organization. So yeah, if anyone's interested in helping out, I'd love to get in touch. So I'll pause there just to get your thoughts and questions and all that.
Yeah, Jeremy, tell me a little bit about when I first heard about what you were doing, and I thought, okay, this is gamification of the Yang Gang. And I was thinking it would be like text banking, phone banking, donations, organizing, showing up at events, that kind of thing. And you would kind of get acknowledgement and some kind of gamification of those kinds of activities. It sounds like this is a broader effort around harnessing kind of distributed compute power. How do I reconcile those two things? Or is it really more the latter and the former, maybe it's just me kind of assuming?
Well, I would say it's kind of both. At the end of the day, I would say we ultimately want to supercharge every nonprofit on the planet. Mm-hmm. So a few different examples that I'll talk about are, one is like, I'll donate blood and plasma to the Red Cross. And the Red Cross has a full database of validated donations. So we can make a very easy API connection to them and say, hey, let us know when this user on our side has donated blood, and we'll create like a super badass health potion for them and give them a bunch of Leyline points. And so you can do the same thing for Habitat for Humanity, for encouraging voting, all these, anything that we consider a good thing for people and humanity, we can actually incentivize. And so and that's why we really focus on like building this economy for good, is that the entire foundation, or rather the way systems tend to work, is that economics is always the engine behind it. And right now, like our economic engine is broken because it's incentivizing capital for the sake of capital. But what we want to do is like raise capital to incentivize the behaviors we want in society. So that's why, to me, it scales to any kind of benevolent or altruistic activity. It's more of a second layer to me, in that the problem today is that we can't solve our massive problems like fixing government or stopping climate change or addressing threatening artificial superintelligence because we are thrusting so many people into poverty. So they are so stressed to get food on the table and have a roof over their heads that they can't even think about climate change. Yang talks to us about this a lot, in that, when you're in a mindset of scarcity, you are essentially losing 13 functional IQ points. So we've got, say, 480 million people that are literally going to get 13 IQ points stupider. So it's why we're seeing so much anger and violence and tribalism and racism manifest. So we just want to get first money into people's hands. And we're applying the same principles of universal basic income into the platform. So you're actually starting off with points and then racking it up and building value passively and just getting money out there. So anyway, to me, I hope that like that baseline of an economy of altruism really resonates with this audience, because I know it's the same type of values. Does that make sense?
It does. I feel like there's two presentations that I saw. I think there's one which was very much sort of related or consistent with Yang's in his book or on his platform, talking about these, like you help your neighbor out and then you bank some points and then you can use those points because like Home Depot donates some stuff and then you can, like, everybody wins kind of thing. That makes a ton of sense. I think the second presentation I saw was, hey, there's this untapped compute power, and let's use it to solve COVID problems. Why not do one or the other, or do them in sequence?
Well, I would say that we're essentially doing both. So time banking absolutely is another major inspiration and guiding set of values for us. So the way our platform accommodates that is that as any number of causes plug in, we're actually not measuring it by the amount of contributions you're making. Because, for example, if we have Jane with a supercomputer donating, she would have like 1 billion points versus Jack, who's only got a mobile phone. So we want to make sure we normalize that distribution. And so the way we do it is we value human labor on time, because that is the one thing we always have a finite amount of, with 24 hours a day. So every donation that comes in will be capped at 24 hours. So time banking there was like a basic foundation that we could build on. And then we can connect people, in the long term, to be able to exchange their own value with each other. And it's actually represented by these Leyline points.
And where are you with the project, Jeremy? Is this we have the pitch deck and you're donating your time, or is this you've got a team of 30 full-time employees like pounding away at it?
Yeah, we're doing good. So what I did is I sold my house, pulled out all my retirement money, sold all of my materials. I'm actually in an Airbnb right now, like living like a nomad, and I donated all to this organization. And we've actually got a team now of about 35, 40-ish people working on a project, developing the platform, building our community, and working on a marketing strategy. And our major milestone is actually in November, which is going to be a chaotic time. to launch a GoFundMe campaign. So what we want to do is basically get the message out there, because pretty much by the end of the year, I'm going to go bankrupt. So we need to do a bit of fundraising to kind of keep the army going. But yeah, we've got that's a major push for us, is to basically come to the public with a message of hope and a vision of some kind of solution for the future. And my hope, or what I'm betting on, is that we can raise enough money to keep this project going, or even just build the awareness to get more volunteers to participate on the open source development. So yeah, we're making a lot of progress. We've got a lot of partners that are signed on. So based off the influencers and connections and sponsors that we have about 30 million potential eyeballs and reach to drive towards that campaign. So yeah, so actually this is just the beginning of trying to reach out to folks and say, hey, we're going to have this GoFundMe campaign and would love to get a donation. Even if it's like $1, it'll still go a long way. If we hit 30 million eyeballs, that's plenty of cash for us to utilize and hire people. So yeah, I'm looking for a few things. Like if anyone's interested, you could reach out to us over at hello@layline.gg, or you could sign up for our email list on layline.gg. But yeah, any kind of help would be just amazing. And one of my dreams.
Could you repeat that in terms of how people can find out more information? Where do they go?
They can go to layline.gg and sign up for our email, and we'll be able to respond back to you and kind of get you started, depending on how you're interested in helping out. And you can just email us at hello@layline.gg, and I'll send you all the links afterwards to post up on the description as you need it. But yeah,
I was Googling Leyline. I wasn't able to find the website. Did you say it's .geg?
GG. So like good game from the gamers lingo.
.gg. Got it.
That's right.
I see it now. Here it is. Leyline.gg. Got it.
Yeah.
Let me put that in the chat for people.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so we're in stealth mode. Actually, we have an alpha build already running. So we're also looking for alpha testers to join our community. And part of the alpha test includes already $1,000 worth of gift cards that you can start to donate towards and then get your initial items. So the core loop's the proof of concept's already built. It's working and we are executing on it. It needs a lot of polish, of course, because we want to make that user experience super easy for like the Generation Z millennial world, because Boink, like when you check out Boink, it's a fantastic product, but it feels like it's from the 70s. So we're trying to give it a bit of a facelift.
Now, Layline.gg looks like pretty much a give us your email page. Is there?
Yeah.
Are you planning on adding more? Are you planning on adding more detail? Like this deck was pretty thorough.
You can check out. Well, we've got a one-pager, a landing page, as well as our actual alpha build, which has like our home, about us, join, etc. We need a little bit more time. I want to polish that up. I mean, I'm happy to share that to you for like some passionate people that don't mind a little bit rough around the edges. But yeah, it's actually alpha.layline.gg if you want to check that out.
Okay, that's the super secret one. Just for the nerds.
That's right. And you'll see the account creation there, but we're essentially doing it whitelisting. So as you register, you won't be able to access a lot of the features and donations until we whitelist you. So if you're interested in testing all that out, happy to include you and have you a part of the effort and the mission.
Love it. What do you think are some of the big milestones aside from the money raise in November? Like, what is it? How are you going to know that this thing is getting traction?
Yeah, actually, so the cool thing about what we're running is that, the problem with most nonprofits is that they rely on donations to be sustainable, but we are actually building a business model that allows for sustainability. So the way it works on these marketplaces is that people are exchanging real money value between each other, and we can apply a 2% transaction fee or a 1% transaction fee. So we actually generate operating revenue that goes straight back to the people. So we'll just keep on filling that prize pool to just give more and more money all over the place. So our milestones are about user growth. So in 2021 is where we're aiming for 100,000 users, growing to 500,000, et cetera. So the more users we get, the more trades we have, the more value gets generated. So what we're aiming to do is get into closed beta as the next stage and an open beta and then go live probably midway into 2021. But at the same time, we are focusing a lot on North America as our test market. Because there's a lot of regulation that we have to deal with when it comes to non-fungible tokens and cryptocurrencies. But our next major market will be India, where we have a large partner out there that basically distributes the entire Steam library. And so in many ways, the mobile market is going to be the largest amount of users for us. But the Western world is where there's most of the hardcore PC gamers. And so it's kind of like an 80-20 distribution where we have like 80% of our users donating and are participating on their smartphones, and then 20% of the whales driving like the core donations and transactions, essentially.
Cool.
So yeah, we're just building and building and building. And, you know, to me, like for entrepreneurs, it's not what you promise, it's actually what you deliver and build. So that's why we're just racing to get something as quickly as possible, because, you know, it's a crisis and we gotta act now. And so yeah, hopefully we can make a difference. That's the plan.
Jeremy, before we wrap up, we have one audience question from Hitachi, who's a channel member. Can you set how much you contribute at different times, like, you know, when you're watching a movie or sleeping versus when you need it yourself for your own games?
Absolutely. Hi, Hitachi. Thanks for asking a question. You absolutely can. So in the application on Boink, you have total configuration around the amount you can donate, when you can donate. It'll also automatically hibernate when you're playing games, for example, because it knows that, okay, the CPU is being used, so it's always a passive use case. Very often, so the way David explains to me is that probably 70-80% of the users tend to just leave the computer on overnight while they're sleeping. So that way it just donates, and then you can shut it off or set the timer set during the day. It never activates and disrupts your activity. So lots of capability to tune it.
Awesome. Well, Jeremy, let's have you back on, you know, maybe in the end of November or early December to talk more about how things are going and some of the specifics. And as a former entrepreneur, I know you're putting your blood, sweat, and tears into this thing. So I, you know, admire the kind of passion and commitment, and obviously super supportive of the end game, which is you're a social entrepreneur. You're not trying to buy a Ferrari. You're trying to help the world. So that's awesome. And
power to the people.
I'm sure my condolences on your mom. I'm sure she's super proud of what she's seeing, and hopefully you can make the world a better place.
Thank you, sir. Seriously, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. It means the world. And yeah, I would love to come back. Happy to, you know, share some stories about the gaming world and the crypto world as well. So,
all right.
So yeah, thanks again. Okay,
well, folks,
have a great one.
Yeah, check out Layline. Consider supporting that effort, and you know, take some for those out there watching this. Like, it's easy to feel very depressed and angry about the state of the world, but if everybody pitches in and does their part, we can do amazing things. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye, nerds. Jeremy, can I get a goodbye, nerds, from you, buddy?
Oh no, I'm losing my connection.
Oh no. I need a goodbye, nerds, before I end the stream, bro.
Sorry, my internet cut out there.
Dude, you need some more compute power from Leyline.
Yeah, I know. I need to see if you can donate some internet to me, I'd really appreciate
Wi-Fi.
that.
That's right. That's right. I was just saying. I was asking you to say goodbye, nerds.
Oh yeah. All right. So again, I'm a major geek myself, so I love this community. So thank you and goodbye, nerds.
Love it. All right, my brother. See you later, buddy.
Thank you so much, Tom.